Welcome to This Enduring Life, a Star Wars podcast from the Radio Meanwhile Network. My name is Steve Rudd.
I'm Nick Gunning, and we're following the Ewoks from Return of the Jedi to the TV movies, the cartoons, the comics, and beyond.
Today we are discussing Ewoks number 11, The Incredible Shrinking Princess. This issue hit the stands on September 30th, 1986, when we were wee boys.
We were. This issue, once again, written by Dave Manick, illustrated and cover by Warren Kremer. The issue is collected in softcover by Dark Horse and Star Wars Omnibus Ewoks and Droids. That's the one I have. Love it.
Yeah,
It's holding up. It's holding up after all these years. Hey, and speaking of comics based on 80s TV shows, Grace Kremer, who served as the letterer on this issue, also served as the letterer for the Count Duckula comic book. The show was a spin-off of Danger Mouse and ran for a total of 65 episodes, and the comic lasted another 15.
That's crazy.
Do you remember Count Duckula?
I do remember Count Duckula. I did not know that it was a spin-off of Danger Mouse, though.
Yeah. I never really watched Danger Mouse, but I loved Count Duckula.
Either.
So I need to track down this comic book, I guess.
Yeah, it's 15. No, lasting 15 issues?
Yeah, 15 issues.
That's a solid run there.
Not bad. Better than Ewoks did. So
that's a fact.
Yeah. Okay.
You're silent.
Yeah.
Nick and I just had a moment of silence.
Yeah, we did
for the comic book.
Yep.
Well, maybe it was for more like Ewoks only having.
Pour one out for Count Duckula.
That's so true. And Warren Kremer.
Yeah.
Or no, Grace Kremer.
Grace Kremer. Yes. Yep.
So that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool though. Wait, it's Grace. Okay, so I'm just gonna go out and ask. Grace Kremer, is that a daughter or a wife of Warren?
I don't know, actually. Also, could be a coincidence, I guess.
I suppose, too.
I'm not sure what their relationship is.
It'd be really cool. I think it would be really cool either way if it was like husband and wife, but like if it was like the child, like how cool is that?
Yeah,
like,
that would be cool.
You know?
His wife, yes.
Oh, okay. Husband and wife. Wow.
That's right.
Look at that. Probably met, in the, office
in the biz, maybe
and decided to get hitched. That's pretty cool.
I know. I agree.
That's a cool story.
Yeah. Let's get into this uber detailed plot. You ready?
Oh yeah. All right. Uber detailed plot of Ewoks number 11, The Incredible Shrinking Princess. Princess Kneesa and her friend Selena are walking together in Bright Tree Village when they stumble upon a rare flower. Though they don't stumble on it by accident, as the flower was placed by some desperate Fleebogs. Kneesa shows the flower to her father, Chief Chirpa, who delights in its beauty. Logray, however, recognizes it as a damsel flower and races to warn the group, but is too late. The flower puffs its pollen into Kneesa's face, and she begins shrinking, so small that she falls through the planks of the village decking into a bush on the forest floor, where she is taken captive by Fleebogs. Man. The Ewoks act quickly to devise a plan to save Kneesa, as she will continue to shrink from the effects of the damsel flower. Logray shrinks Wicket and Teebo, and they both head off with a bag of growing powder to save Kneesa. As Kneesa and the Fleebogs make their way through their tunnels, they are attacked by a Ralug. Raylug? I'm not really sure. R-A-L-U-G-G, right?
I don't know.
Ralug. There we go. They manage to slow it down and escape. However, Wicket and Teebo run right into the Ralug. They too manage to barely escape in a rush of water, but unfortunately lose the bag of growing powder to the Ralug. Unbeknownst to the Ewoks, their escape was assisted by the Fleebogs. In the cavern the two Ewoks end up in, they find Kneesa. Kneesa informs them she wasn't kidnapped, but was taken in order to help fight off the Ralug. To everyone's astonishment, Kneesa appears to be shrinking more and more. This is because the damsel flower has a unique effect on Ewoks. Suddenly, the Ralug attacks them, snaring Teebo and slinking away with him. The Fleebogs help Wicket and the ever-shrinking Kneesa rescue Teebo and recover the growing powder. Wicket acts as a distraction while teeny tiny Kneesa grabs the bag. She manages to recover the bag, but not without giving the Ralug a swift bop on the head with it. Some of the powder is released, and the Ralug grows so massive it blasts through the ceiling of their cave and runs off frightened into the forest. With the Ralug problem gone, and the growing powder recovered, the Ewoks dust themselves and return to their normal size. They all realize that just because you're small doesn't mean you can't handle big problems. The Fleebogs give the Ewoks a resounding thank you. Roll credits.
There we go. Another tidy little adventure, another
Yeah.
corner of Endor that we're seeing for the first time. So I like the Fleebogs. I like Raylug.
Yeah, another short one, right? This one
Because it is a shorty. Yeah.
felt way shorter than it. I
Mhm.
never looked at the page numbers, but it simply just felt so short.
Yeah. Well, and it also, I feel like I can't talk about this without stepping on our Okavarks and Ichiwawas, but one of the things that stood out to me right away was it is such a retread of the Underwater Kingdom. You know, it's just beat
It
for
really
beat.
is. Yeah.
They stumble into this group. They think the group is bad guys. Then, oh no, actually they're good. They're just fighting this real bad guy. So the Ewoks join forces and they fight the real bad guy and happily ever after. So that bugged me a little bit, but it didn't really dampen my enjoyment of it. I still feel like it was a good, solid adventure. It does feel short, but it didn't bite off more than it could chew. It's just like a delightful little adventure in a new area. So, I liked it overall.
True. It's hard to really dislike this one because even though the story, I agree, is very, I mean, this is a remanufactured story, just in different, could be an above ground, could be a sky.
It's a find and replace,
village,
definitely.
They've done it before, but it's so simple that it's hard to be like, well, there's a problem here. I mean, me, I'll point out a problem with anything.
I do know that about you. Yeah.
Give me 5 minutes. But no, like this, I was reading it. I was just like, oh, that was really short. Even though there wasn't much to it, I was kind of just like, oh man, like that. I think made it feel short. There's a lot of frames with pretty much nothing in it. Maybe like a squawk or a pow, and so you breeze across those really fast.
Yeah.
Then it did seem like the frames with text had a lot of text in it. So it felt like I was skipping through it a lot. And then when I read it a second time, I found myself almost instinctively skipping ahead and being like, whoa, I need to, go back and reread that just to make sure I didn't, understand something completely wrong. And so, it just seemed to read very fast. And even my daughter, after me, Zoe, she read it, just a few minutes right after me. She's like, oh, what are you doing? Sat down and just read it.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I think it works though. I don't need it to be wordy, and I liked that it was more like visual and actiony and everything. One thing that I would have liked to have seen, first of all, we have a new named Ewok, Selena, a friend. Not sure why that wasn't Latara, but I like the new Ewok. I wish that Selena would have come back in the end, like they would have been reunited or something, because I did feel like the end was very abrupt.
Yes, it is very abrupt.
I was reading this on the app rather than my Dark Horse Omnibus, and so I'm like, going panel by panel, and I'm like, oh, it's over. Okay, all right, like it surprised me a little bit. You remember the Underwater Kingdom was just Wicket and Tebow?
Yep.
I would have liked this one better if it had been just like Wicket and Tebow are off somewhere, and this is just, say, Kneesa and Latara, and maybe throw in Selena and have it be just them.
Yeah.
Then we're seeing like different sides, and it wouldn't have felt quite so paint by numbers to just have like, no, the fellas are gonna, do the action parts. Felt a little redundant to me.
I agree with that. Yeah.
I like that Kneesa still got to. It wasn't like she was just help me tied to the railroad tracks. Like they purposely capture her because they want her help. Because she's the princess. She's the heir apparent.
She'll help us.
And then when it comes down to really fighting Raylug in the end, she's the one who does it. Like she's the one who takes him out.
Yep.
So I thought that was a nice change of pace. But yeah, overall, I think this is just a nice, pleasant issue.
I know we weren't annoyed with I want to do it so I can have a trophy for my warrior belt, and it's like
we haven't done that in a while. That's been a while.
I know, right?
I don't miss it, but it has been a long time.
There's the stuff that slowly goes to the wayside that we forget was so annoying. About some of the aspects. It's like I would take a simple recycled story over hearing about his stupid warrior belt so many times. I felt like that one was like beating a dead horse, where it's just like, dude, how many does it take? 4,
Yeah.
5,
Yeah,
7,
I know.
17? Like, how many trophies do you need on your warrior belt to be a warrior?
I
Or
do
is it
kind of
just
miss
me?
having a
You know?
villain, though. You know what I mean? Like
True.
I like Morag and I liked the Dulocs, and they've all just kind of gone by the wayside. And so I think that sort of forces this like freak of the week, like episodic kind of thing, which again, not bad. You know, it was fun and it was good.
So that
So
brings a thought into my head. I think that's a
let me
good
have it.
point
Thanks, man.
because I think originally or very long ago, it was maybe is the Zach Gialongo
Oh, that was so fun.
comic
Love
that
it.
kind of referenced that like Endor is a savage, dangerous planet, right? And so when you have a character like Morag enticing or basically springing every trap or misfortune on the Ewoks, or like say the Dulocs, right? Where there's like two reoccurring enemies, Morag and the Dulocs.
Yeah,
It seems less savage because it's just the Dulocs that are nasty,
that's
or
true.
it's
That's a good
just
point.
Morag that's
Yeah,
taking creatures and just making them do bad things. But when you get rid of the Dulocs, or you kind of don't include them and don't include Morag, then it's just Endor that is savage. Like at
yeah,
any
for
moment,
sure.
somebody could just shrink you, or you could
Right,
sniff a
right.
flower and be like, "Wow, beautiful!" Shrink, and then just shrink into nothingness. And so, like, it's for me that I thought that like this makes it seem just like around every
That's a
corner
good point.
on the floor of Endor, you could.
Yeah.
There's danger, right? And that's why the Ewoks live in the trees.
The rule of thumb here is probably if you see something in Endor that you don't recognize, don't touch it or go near
Don't
it
touch
or
it.
look at it.
Yeah. Wow, that's
Just
beautiful.
go in the other
Shouldn't touch
direction.
it.
Run
Yeah,
away.
right.
Run away. That's all it is. Okay, well, let's get to the negative. Give me your
Okay.
Oak of Arc moment. What is it?
So for me, I think there was the obvious at the end that like the problem really wasn't solved of the Ralug.
That's true. That is
It
true.
just and they were like, what was it? See, like even just because you're small doesn't mean you can't handle big problems. All I was thinking, like, well, now the problem's even bigger.
Right.
I got like
You've made this a
that's
much
not really
larger.
a
Yeah.
moral. Oh, are you small and you want to fix your big problem? Just make it bigger so that bigger people have to deal with the bigger
Yeah.
problem.
Yep.
And it's just like, I just thought that was so funny that they didn't
Yeah.
actually one thing I thought of would have been interesting that like, oh, the Ralaga is so small that it like can skim on top of water, and
Mm.
then all of a sudden, boom, it becomes too big, and now it sinks and dies.
Yeah.
For me, that would have been like, oh, okay, like that would have been a perfect like, the problem
Dark.
became bigger,
But
but
yeah.
because it was bigger, it became too heavy and
Yeah.
sank. And so for me, I feel like that would have been a justified ending to the story because, like, I mean, the problem with the Raleigh was solved for the
Fleebogs. Yeah.
but obviously not for the rest of Endor.
True. True.
You know?
Yeah. Now. Yeah.
So I wonder if we're going to see it in another issue. That'd be
Maybe.
really
Maybe
interesting.
we will.
That'd be
Maybe we
cool if
will.
somebody
Who
did
knows?
that.
All right. That makes
Yeah,
sense.
that was mine. What about
Okay.
yours? What did you not like, or what was negative, you think?
I kind of touched on it, but I think if we were just picking these up without context, I think this would be great. But it was hard for me not to be like, yeah, Underwater Kingdom. We've done this before, so
Yeah,
I
it kind
guess
of
that's
looked
it.
like it too, didn't
Yeah,
it?
I guess that's it for me. It
Really
just
did.
the story was so similar, and I think even just swapping out the Ewoks that we were seeing, make this like a Kneesa Latara adventure. I think that would have been unique enough for me to not even think about that. But as it was,
Yeah.
this was just kind of in my head that like, yeah, I liked it the first time. I like it again. So it's
Mhm.
kind of a mid Oak of Arc, but that is what stood
Yeah.
out to me.
Yeah, for sure. What about your Ichiwawa moment?
Well, branching off what I just said, I think it is Kneesa's hero turn at the end. Like I really liked that they didn't paint her just as the damsel, and they've done that before. I think in the comics, we've had other instances where it seemed like we're going to do that, and then no, she has a cool moment. But I really liked that it kind of started with her being captured, and then it ended with her being the one who saved the day. I thought that was cool, and I think unusual. I think especially for the time that they didn't just like make her be the girl one. Like she was cool and heroic.
Well, yeah,
and I liked that.
If you think about it, Wicket and Tebow really did nothing.
No,
right? The first time they confronted the Ralug, they lost the powder, and then the second time the Ralug came, Tebow gets captured. So it's literally just like the only good thing about them being there was that they brought the powder.
Yeah, they delivered the powder, and that's the extent.
Yeah, and even then, when Wicket was like the distraction, he was like not very good at it. It was like, what's taking you so long? And it's like, well, dude, she's got like teeny tiny legs.
Yeah.
Like it's gonna take a little longer. But I just thought that was funny. He's like, what's taking so long? And it's just like her strides at this point, because she was on his shoulder at one point, which I thought was probably the coolest frame in that whole comic, was like
visually, I
him
thought this
running
was pretty good.
with her on his shoulder. So like, so her stride is like, I don't know, a solid like maybe 6 inches now. It's gonna take her a while to like, get like 100 feet.
Take a little bit. Yeah. Well, what was yours?
Mine was the Selena. Not only do we have a new Ewok, but we had a new named Ewok, and that's pretty significant. We haven't gotten a whole lot of those.
I feel like 3 or 4 times has it happened.
Yeah, and did you notice that she's blue? So I saw one frame, she's like a very light blue, and then in like I guess it's like a cover frame, a cover one where she's just much more rich, but she's very royal blue in that.
She's got sort of the flower or whatever it is.
Yeah, she's a little flower. She almost looks like a damsel flower.
Headdress. It did look a little bit like it. Yeah, it was cool. And I was like, oh, this must be someone we've seen before and I've just forgotten. But no, this is just this.
Only appearance.
Just issue 11. So yeah, that's a good one too. And I considered it for mine because I'm always happy to like expand the cast.
Yeah. I think the combination of our two though is perfect. Like I really wish Selena would have been a part of it, and it would have been, why not have Latara and Kneesa and Selena helping out, or like even if it's Selena that's like, oh wow, and then they're like, oh no, we have to go save our friend.
Yeah,
I mean that's an immediate, like, to a little kid is like, oh yeah, save my friend. I would save my friend. I would go to save my.
Or have Selena like sneak along. You know what I mean? Like she runs up and kind of gets caught in the dust or whatever. You know what I mean? Yeah. Just like have something where she's not supposed to be there and then she is. It would have added a little depth to the story, I think, in a fun way. But I agree. It's still cool that she was there. So how many yub nubs you want to give this one?
This one's so simple, but I really did enjoy it. But I don't think it was like totally good. I think I would give it like a 4.25.
Okay.
Just because even though it's a recycled storyline, I think it works. I think it's fun.
I do too. Yeah.
It's still fun, and you sit there and you go, oh, that cavern looks like the cavern from a different comic book, but it's like, when you're the same writers, same inkers, and artists, it's gonna happen, and they recycle stuff, but. It's good. It's fun. It's Ewoks, right? This is like, in essence, Ewoks, where there is danger, but we're not getting like the planet's going to die if you don't do it.
It's very forgivable because, like, is a kid gonna notice that this is a retread if he like picks this up from like the grocery store spinner rack? Is he gonna be like, now wait a minute, an issue number 9? I don't think so. It's just because we're like shining a light on it. So I'm with you. I was gonna give it a 4, but I'll notch it up to yours. 4.25. Solid Ewok entry. I like it.
Absolutely.
Okay. Well, next time we're going to be back with the droids. We're going to be covering Droids comics number 6 through 8. We're doing these as in one go because they just recapped the original trilogy, and we know that story pretty well. So we'll see what they got. I guess we'll save it for then, but I wish that they were at least maintaining the look of the comic, because they're maintaining the numbering. This isn't just a standalone thing. It's 6 through 8. I would have liked to have seen the R2 and C-3PO that we've been following in the series carried over into that, but it's just a classic look of them. So I don't know. I don't really get it. So we'll have to dive into that next time.
Yeah, that'll be a good topic for discussion for sure.
What the thought was about. Yeah. Okay. Well, I guess we'll find out then. So until next time.
Yeah, I'll see you guys then. This Enduring Life was brought to you by the Radio Meanwhile Network. Other shows on the network include 9021 Here We Go, 90s Music Got Me Like, and previously on X-Men. Share your thoughts on this and upcoming episodes by following us on Facebook or X at Endorian Life. And please rate, subscribe, and share this show wherever you get your podcasts.
You almost threw up there for a minute.
A little swallow in there.
Worried about you, yeah.